go back. What was it for?
493.9, having unspecified and has bronchitis, allergic, asthmatic.
493.9.
Is that right?
There, it does require fifth digit, and I missed telling you that. I'm sorry. You have to the left of it a little oval box, and inside it it's got a check mark in fifth. That tells you have to have a fifth digit. Now, look up under 493, and you'll see the choices of fifth digits. Now, this is the fifth digit is going to tell us whether it's an unspecified or if it has status asthmaticus or if it's an acute exacerbation. Based on what's written on our diagnosis, which is nothing more than allergic bronchitis, what's the fifth digit you're going to have to give it? A 0. A 0. Good point. I'm glad you picked that up. 0.90. Now, if you had only taken the 493.9 code from the alphabetic, would you have been correct or incorrect? You would have been incorrect. See why I feel comfortable betting my whole life savings? That's a perfect example of one. And you would not have known to have gone further by what was written in the alphabetic. You would only have known to go further by what is written in the tabular. All right, let's go back to your textbook and go back to page 5. The supplementary classifications. We're going to talk about those just a minute so you'll know what they do. They're made up of what we call V codes and E codes. The V code, the letter V doesn't mean anything. Don't worry about it. It just is V. It is for a reason for a healthcare encounter for reasons other than the patient being sick, acutely sick. Now, I know that right now maybe doesn't make sense. But do people oftentimes go to the doctor's office and they're not really sick? Yeah. Maybe they went for a checkup, maybe they went for a physical, maybe they went for a second opinion, for a particular diagnosis. Maybe, there's all kinds of reasons that you go. Maybe you just went to get your pills refilled. Maybe it was your birth control pills. You're not acutely sick then, but you did encounter health care for a valid reason. Maybe I want to go get a tummy tuck. Maybe I want to go get a breast augmentation or a breast reduction. Not what's wrong with me may not necessarily be a disease, but it's a reasonable encounter for health care. We've got to be able to show it. So that's what your V codes do. Another example of V codes, let's say that I'm depressed. But the reason I'm depressed is because I've got 12 children, my mother and father-in-law, my mother and dad all live with me. Oh, I'm divorced, and my husband beats me, and, well, wait a minute. So depression is my diagnosis, but are all those other things factors that are influencing my disease status? Yes. So we have a way of coding those, and that's what the V codes do. All right, the E codes. Now, they're different. E codes stand for external cause of injury. Everyone in this room could have a fractured leg of the very same identical place on your leg. One of you got it because you fell off a trampoline. One of you got the fractured leg because you played football in the backyard. Another of you got it because you went bungee cord jumping. And the fourth person got it because they were in a fight. Totally different reasons, but for the very same diagnosis. Is it important as we study accidents to know the causes of accidents? For instance, maybe a person in here got it from a fall, and then we realize that person is in their late 60s to 80s, where we have a higher incidence of falls. So the E codes tell us not only, or the regular codes tell us what is wrong with the patient, but the E codes tell us how it happened. Then we also have another set of E codes that can tell us where it happened. So I literally can find out that you've got a fractured leg that you got because you had a fall from the horse, and the fall from the horse was on the farm. Or it could be a fractured leg because you fell from a horse because you were in the Collard Festival parade and you were riding the horses in the parade. And each one of those things may make a difference in how we look at things and how you get reimbursed. So that's what E codes are. At the very bottom of this page and in the middle of your ICD-9 book, and I want you to take the time to find them, you're going to find morphology of neoplasm codes. Now, generally, they occur at the end of the E codes, but as soon as I say that, they'll probably not be that way in this book. So look in your, I see up there in the back, look in the back of your book at the end, find the 99.9 codes in the back of your book, and they should be the very next thing, the Appendix A. Morphology of neoplasms. So we know it has something to do with neoplasms, both benign and malignant. Because does that word tell you that it's malignant? No, it just means it's a new growth. Morphology. What is the study of morphology? Shape, cell, cellular aspects, cellular patterns. So this is a special categorization that we have for neoplasms. You're going to learn to use it. The chances of you using it in real life are pretty slim because your pathology departments are already coding your neoplasms in some way, but you've got to learn it anyway. All right, turn to the next appendix, and that's going to be Appendix C because Appendix B has been eliminated. But Appendix C is a classification of drugs. Do you realize that drugs also have a coding system? You can go to any pharmacy, anywhere, and you can ask them to let you see the AHFS, the American Hospital Formulary Service. The formulary. Formulary tells them how a drug has been formulated. And it takes those drugs, and it breaks them down in an outlined form, just like ICD-9-CM does for our diagnoses. And that's what you have in front of you, the major categories that drugs are broken down into according to the AHFS. All right, so take a look at the anti-infective agents. They're all categorized as an 8.00, but notice it goes from 8.00 to 8.40. And within that, we've got our cephalosporins, erythromycins, penicillins, streptomycins, tetracyclines. Oh, is that beginning to sound familiar? The antibiotics or the anti-infectives are all in the 8.0 category.
I'm totally lost.
Totally lost.
What page are you on?
It's page 7, Appendix C, in the back.
Okay.
Appendixes.
Okay, I'm there.
Are you there now? All right. Take a look at the cardiovascular drugs. Notice it's in alphabetic order, and they've also given it in numeric order, the 24.00s. So we've got our cardiac drugs and our hypotensives and our vasodilatings. So drugs are broken down. The only reason this is going to be of any help to you is that